Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Boy, wow, news literally just dropping like within the last hour. Pretty interesting. But Trump is officially going to war on these sanctuary cities. He's done. He is not a happy camper, and that is a big deal. We have all sorts of things happening. We got the migrant thing, and what's going on with this stuff is a very big deal. And this is Trump's home turf. He's really, really fussy about it. He's really fired up about it. It's a big deal. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, folks. If Trump wants to get anywhere on this, he's going to have to deal with the fact that the Uniparty and the deep state don't want him to. And they're fighting him, and they're going to continue fighting him, right? So unless and until something can be changed with that, until he can get around that, he's going to be butting his head into a wall. And so, that leads to where we're going to go for a majority of the show today. Is we're going to be talking about some of this deep state stuff and fighting back and all those sorts of things. It's a really, really big deal. I don't. I don't know how to say this, but we're not fighting the deep state. We're fighting them, but not directly. We're not taking it to them. We're losing the fight. We're looking at these kind of issues that are surface area issues. I want to deport the illegals, but unless we get the guys who are stopping us from deporting the illegals, unless we take care of the people in the deep state that are preventing these policies from working, it isn't going to do any good. Enter the Epstein list. There is no more of a deep state issue than the Epstein list, right? Some of these different things that are out there, no one has the courage to address the real issues. Everybody wants to talk about things, but when the going gets tough, people get going. They just go run away. Nobody wants to fight through these tough issues. Everybody's we're good. We can talk about this, talk about that, but when it comes to the tough issues, forget it. People run. No one wants to face difficult times. No one wants to push through. No one wants to fight for what's necessary. And, Trump's a warrior, but he's surrounded by a bunch of spineless wussies. I'm sorry. He's got some great people. I love Tom Homan. I love some of these guys. But, until we get some real action, and the DOJ, just like under Bill Barr, is useless. Just absolutely useless. So, we've got to get a hold of this, and this is a big deal. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. Before I do, I want to remind you guys, please consider giving to us, supporting us. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw, GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. Become a monthly contributor. If you can contribute to us monthly, it makes a huge difference, right? This is what's kept us alive. It's supported multiple lawsuits, kept us going for years. It's a big deal. So please support us. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. Also, please go to TimeRuns.com, www.TimeRuns.com. Make sure you click on the shop, go down to our partners affiliates. And of course, got Kirk Elliott and Satphone, Dulce Sweetener, Sherry Tenpenny, all these good people, right? Scroll down. But Global Healing is one of our closest partnerships. They're one of our best groups. We love these guys. Wonderful, wonderful products, wonderful people. I just don't know how. I can't recommend them enough. We use them. I use them. They're one of the best sponsors that we have, one of the best programs that we're a part of. Our affiliate sponsor program is one of the best out there. We got some of the best people, and these guys are one of my favorite product lines. I use them myself. Here I've got tons of their products. That's liver health, kidney health, all sorts of things. Make sure you're checking them out. Global Healing. You can get them at TomRuns.com, or you can go to globalhealing.com/pages/TomRuns. But make sure you're supporting them. All right. I want to get to work. Because there's a lot to talk about. And I want to start out by showing you this. Let me go here. We've got of course, Vigilant Fox, who's a great guy, good friend. He put this tweet out, and he's talking about Levitt and Holman did this. They just went to war today. They say, today we kick off 100-day week with focus on the president's efforts to get rid of deal with the southern border. And he's doing all sorts of things on this. Second part of this order is going to, and he wants to get the enforcement stuff done, but he really wants to also get to the sanctuary cities. And that is going to be a very big deal. These sanctuary cities, he said, Levitt explained that centered around protecting American communities from criminal aliens, and will direct the AG and Secretary of Homeland Security to publish a list of state and local jurisdictions that have obstructed enforcement of federal immigration laws. They're going after these guys. I expect you're going to see people in jail because you cannot, it is illegal to obstruct justice. We have laws in this country against harboring illegals, against all this stuff. And these cities are just blatantly doing it. And you can't do that. It's illegal. This isn't a constitutional crisis because Trump's enforcing the law, but it is a constitutional crisis. It's a constitutional crisis because these cities, these political leaders, these leaders, elected officials, are openly violating the law. They're just violating it. That's what's happening. We cannot allow this. We cannot allow judges to assist, to aid and abet in criminal activity. That is what's occurring here. And the rule of law is at stake. We're either going to take a stand or everything's going to hell. That's where we are. That is 100% where we are. So it's a big deal. Here's a clip from the press conference. I'm going to show you. It's this is Carolyn Levitt. Let's hear what she has to say.
Today, we kick off 100-day week with a focus on the president's historic effort to secure our southern border. Later this afternoon, President Trump will sign an executive order on law and order and another executive order on sanctuary cities. The first EO will strengthen and unleash America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. The second EO is centered around protecting American communities from criminal aliens, and it will direct the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security to publish a list of state and local jurisdictions that obstruct the enforcement of federal immigration laws. After these are signed, the president will have signed more than 140 executive orders already, rapidly approaching the total number signed by the Biden administration over the course of 4 years in office.
Okay. Very big deal, but 140 executive orders that can be removed on the first day of the next presidency. Unless Congress passes laws, these executive orders will be gone the first day that we get a Democrat elected. First day. So I want to congratulate the president for doing exactly what he said he would do to the best of his ability. But the guy is known for being able to make a deal. He needs to get a deal done where Congress does something. Now, let me tell you why this is so important. I want to play this clip too for you guys. So watch this. Let me show you this.
Mainstream media, as you know, Brian, doesn't want to cover this story. What we've done is get violent criminals and other lowlifes on the street. It's literally a murderer's row here on the lawn of the White House. And these are people that we've taken out of the country since we came into office. Last month, we had the lowest border crossings on record. And that's a result of not new legislation, as Biden said we would need, but just a new president getting the job done. We've reunited over 5,000 children with their families or a safe guardian since we came into office. We're cleaning up our communities. We're getting rid of all these guys. I mean, look at these. These are all heinous crimes. These are violent crimes. That would be a Law and Order episode, and we have to get all of them out of the country.
Okay. Now, here's the problem. Realistically, the president's doing what he said to the best of his ability, but we have deported almost, the total number of deportations pales in comparison to what Biden, what Obama did even. We really have not deported that many people because the president's constantly tied up in the courts. He's constantly tied up everywhere. He can't get anything done. The president is getting nothing done permanent. He can't get it done because Congress isn't doing anything and the bureaucracy won't do anything. So the president is running around, but he is really without any sort of real support. That starts with the DOJ. The DOJ is not doing its job. The DOJ is sitting there. Now, enter this story, and this is where it gets real. So we've got murderers, we've got thugs, we've got criminals. We know that Biden imported millions and millions. He brought them in. He did everything he could to keep them here. right? He did all these different things. We've got the courts blocking Trump from deporting them. We've got the courts blocking Trump's executive order, 140 executive orders. How many are tied up in courtrooms right now? Everything Trump's doing is being stumped. It's being stumped by the deep state, right? Now, this is the most foundational issue. And I'm not sure, producer Andrea, if you could, she's in the background here, see if Charity might be joining us late, if you could double check with her. Let her know that we're happy to accept her late as she can.
Okay.
But one of the things that's occurring here is the deep state and the bureaucracy is ignoring the will of we the people and the president we elected. And it's on a profound level. Now, everybody keeps telling me to wait on the DOJ. They've got big stuff happening. When? So I don't think there's any better representation of this than the Epstein list, right? The Epstein list is critical. Why is that? Well, the people who were blackmailing these public officials still have that information. They're still blackmailing these public officials. All the guys on the Epstein list, do you think that Jeffrey Epstein had all that in his house and didn't put it anywhere else? Jeffrey Epstein was sponsored. He was controlled. He was working for someone. I guarantee you that the president's somewhere, maybe the president himself doesn't, but the DOJ, these people, someone knows who Epstein was working for. They know without any question who he was working for. They know without any question what he was doing. There's no question about that, right? Someone knows that. Those people that he was working for still are in control. It's one of the most important tools of the deep state is this blackmail footage that they have, the ability to control these elected officials, these billionaires, these movers and shakers around the world. And it's still happening. It's still happening, right? Now, what are we doing about the Epstein list? And I want to know, is Pam Bondi any better than Bill Barr? Is she? Let me tell you why I'm asking that, because that is a very controversial question, right? Pam Bondi, I mean, Trump says she's great, right? But Trump said Bill Barr was great. He did. He said all these guys were great. I will need to see some action. I don't want to see Bongino telling me that Bondi's great. I don't want to see Patel telling me that Bondi's great. I want to see action. I want to see what you're going to do. Right now, you ain't doing crap. Now, enter this story. This is on Gateway Pundit. Gateway Pundit. House Oversight Chair James Comer accuses Bondi's DOJ of stonewalling Epstein trafficking files. What? Yeah, that's for real. Look at this. This is for real, folks. And let's listen. Let's listen to a little bit of this. This is a very, very big deal. We got to skip this. Sorry, there's always these ads.
This is not a scam. All Americans can apply for the 2024 $15,000 debt relief program.
The task force on declassification of federal secrets will come to order.
Now, remember, Anna Paulina Luna was tasked, JFK, RFK, all these different things. Her job was to get this truth out there, right? She was going to be tasked with this. She's got this task force. Now, here's what's happening.
Freshly launched Oversight Committee task force led by Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna is assigned to unmasking holdouts who defied Trump's first-term directives and blocked release of thousands of JFK documents.
So our task force is, trying to reach out and question the bureaucrats, figure out which bureaucrat didn't comply with the orders. Same thing happened with the Epstein files when Pam Bondi thought she was releasing the Epstein files. It really wasn't the Epstein files, obviously.
You're looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. You know, there were flight logs, there were names and victims' names. And we're going, where's the rest of the stuff?
So that task force is kind of working on very hard behind the scenes to identify which bureaucracies and which bureaucrats are not complying with the president's orders. I heard that 10,000 times.
Okay. These are people who work for the president but are not complying with his orders. This is one of the most foundational issues we have because it's a national security threat. The people controlling these elected officials and bureaucrats have all the power they need to do anything they want. Yet we can't get the damn Epstein videos. Explain this to me.
Over the past 2 years. Well, we can't turn that over. There's an ongoing investigation. We're hearing that with the Epstein files now in this administration. So
who's telling you that?
In this administration.
Well, that's what that's the, when we request information, if they don't provide it, that's what they say, there's an ongoing investigation.
Some liaison to Congress tells you that?
Well, whoever replies to our letter or subpoena, that's what they say. There's an ongoing investigation.
So even now they're citing that for Epstein?
We've been real careful to try to let, some of these cabinet officials get established and things like that. The task force is...
This is Comer dancing around the fact that they're still holding this up.
Asked for, the Epstein list and things like that, and that's been the reply thus far, but they still say we're going to release it. We're in the process of releasing it. We've just got to make sure nothing is released that compromises the ongoing investigation.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we now have all the JFK files, or they're in the process of being posted and so on?
Well, I would say that we've probably gotten pretty much what we're going to get.
Folks, they're being blocked by the bureaucrats, and Comer's saying we're going to get what we're going to get. You didn't get everything with the JFK files. You didn't even come close. I'm going to tell you right now, we did not get that. This was not transparency. That's a load of crap. We're being lied to. There are bad guys. There are foxes guarding the hen house right now.
The question I have is, were there documents that have disappeared over the last 4 decades, and that's probably a possibility?
You mean like the Epstein documents?
I find it hard to believe that if the government was involved in some type of role in the Kennedy assassination, that they would say, okay, let's keep this file in this safe here. And, I would think that file would disappear very quickly.
Well, I've said much the same about the Epstein files. Certainly, if there are bad actors, they weren't holding the documents under a glass dome waiting for Trump to be reelected so that they could be released.
The thing that worries me about the Epstein files, and I've read a lot about it, like most Americans have, is was our government involved in this? Were they potentially blackmailing some of the most influential people in the United States or in the world? If you go into, Britain and other countries where we know there were very high profile people that were going to the Epstein Island or whatever you want to call it. And if that was the case, I find it hard to believe that any type of evidence of that would still be in existence.
This was one of the most important things you're going to hear, folks. This is James Comer, who's trying to be supportive of the president, but knows exactly what's happening. I'm going to fill you in on this in a minute.
Including videos.
We know
there were videos.
I think at the very least, there are 2 questions most Americans have. Who was on the list, and did our government, play any role in evaluating that or spying on that, or were they involved in any type of blackmail attempts or anything to get information? Enough time has passed, but we're still battling that battle.
Okay. This, folks, is one of the most important interviews that I have heard in years. James Comer essentially admitted that the Epstein stuff, the files are probably at risk being deleted or already been deleted. I wonder why. And if you think they're gone, I got news for you. They're not gone. They're just outside of the government's reach, at least to our knowledge, right? The deep state has these. Deep state isn't going to tell the president they have it. Do you want to know what I think is really happening? I think Bondi's embarrassed. I think she's embarrassed to say, I don't know what the hell's going on. I think she asked for these files and they were all shredded. I think that she asked for them. They were shredded because they didn't have a plan. She didn't come in with a plan. There was no plan to preserve or to ensure that the evidence was preserved. But the problem is if that's the case, why aren't there arrests? Why is the FBI and the agents involved, why aren't they being arrested? Why are we firing people instead of arresting them? This is profound. We have to find out where that data is. We have to find out what's going on. And, well, I don't know. Let's just sweep this under the rug. Let's just pretend this isn't happening. That doesn't cut it. That doesn't cut it. We're not going to forget, because it's our national security at risk here, folks. We can't forget. We can't let this go. We can't just say, well, we love Donald Trump and he's doing his best. That's good enough. No. If Bondi, Patel, and Bongino can't deliver, then find someone who can. I'm sorry. I love Bongino and Patel, and I believe that they're legit good people. But this is bullcrap. This is bullcrap. Virginia Giuffre being dead. Yeah, I mean, that whole thing, that is 100%, 100% a thing about, I mean, let me go back. Let me go here. This is what I posted this weekend. I actually pinned it to my profile. Here we go. Let me show you. I tagged President Trump in this, and I put it on Truth Social. I put it on Twitter. I put it on everywhere. I said, as one of your biggest and most consistent supporters, Mr. President, this makes me sick. I'm referring to Virginia Giuffre's death, which was not a suicide. I mean, really, does anybody really think that was a suicide? Further, as an attorney and someone that has talked to and interviewed numerous other attorneys and law enforcement personnel that also love you, I can say there is absolutely zero reason that there have been zero arrests for child rape, because that's what Epstein was doing. He was facilitating the rape of children so he could blackmail people that did it. The people on the Epstein list include high-profile names with security clearances, and all are still likely being blackmailed. This poses a legitimate national security risk. Further, it poses a risk to your agenda if the list includes judges or politicians. Geez, been some peculiar rulings lately, haven't there? I got no evidence that any of these people are being blackmailed, but I can show you that those rulings don't make any sense in some cases. I continue to appreciate all you do for you and our country, for our country, and support you. I'll continue fighting for you and your agenda, but you promised us transparency, and your DOJ is not delivering on that critical issue. That's for damn sure. There is nothing transparent about what's occurring at the DOJ. Well, we're investigating. No. It takes 5 minutes to post the video of a child rapist. And if you've lost all the video, you need to come clean and say, listen, someone deleted it all, and we're going to put every single person who was anywhere near that stuff in jail forever. You either make an example of the people who have concealed evidence, or you make an example of the people who were involved in the crime. One of the two. You're going to arrest some low-level judge for obstructing justice, but that justice, she had one illegal immigrant she helped. Compare that to the people, the FBI agents. Compare that to the FBI agents who may have assisted in facilitating child rape, who may have covered up child rape, who may have covered up a national security blackmail scheme. It doesn't even compare. It's not even close. This is crucial. I agree, that judge in Wisconsin, the other New Mexico judge, arrest them. They're obstructing justice. Good. But what about the FBI agents who are deleting Epstein files? And if they didn't, why is there no charges? Why are there no charges? Producer Andrea, we need to do a press release. This is absurd to me. This is absurd. We're going to arrest a judge who rightly should be arrested for obstructing justice. We absolutely need to do that. But we're going to let the guys, the FBI agents who deleted files, listen, whoever, there's a track, there's a way, they know who was responsible for that evidence. That's all there. If not, arrest the whole SDNY New York office, the whole office, arrest them all, put them in jail. Someone was responsible for that. Someone was responsible for that. And everybody that was involved should be in jail. There's probable cause. That entire office was involved with obstruction of justice. You want to man up? You want to show us you're tough? You want to flex your muscles? Good. Arrest that judge. Then do what's necessary for our country and arrest the criminals who are responsible for covering up child rape. and covering up a blackmail network that poses a serious risk to national security. And please, for the love of God, quit having Dan Bongino come out and say, trust us, things are happening behind the scenes. I do trust you. You gave up millions of dollars to do your job, but I'm not seeing any action, and I don't trust your boss. I don't know whether she's incompetent or she's just covering up or what's going on, but at this point, there should be something going on here. Virginia Giuffre is dead. If you want to believe the story mainstream, she killed herself. I don't believe that for a second. Prince Andrew, what, he doesn't have the power or connections? I mean, come on here. This is trying to whitewash us, right? Trying to whitewash this whole thing. This whole thing, 100%. So I go on and I say, child rape and blackmail need to be put at the top list. Low-level vandals and other clowns can wait. Please shut down this blackmail ring before any other damage is done. Show us your DOJ means business. Thank you again for all you do and for MAGA. There it is. There it is. Now, I posted that, and I'm going to scroll down here. I want to show you. Just in case you think I'm unreasonable, scroll down. Scroll down. Where's it at? Somewhere down here. There it is. Here it is. My friend General Flynn. Now, we all know I love Trump, but in case you need a reminder, it's not just me. General says he agrees with me, and he tagged Flynn and Bondi as well, right? Anyone that knows anything. Now, General Flynn, National Security Director, for a minute under Trump till he got set up, right? For a minute. That's what happened. They get set up. All of a sudden, he's gone. Set up. They tried to take Flynn out too. Folks, if you know what's happening, if you understand how the law works, and if you understand how politics work, this is the deep state. And this is their number one control tool. Number one control tool. Now, we're going to come back to this throughout the show because this is foundational to everything that's happening. Everything. Now, meanwhile, BlackRock is trending. You know, BlackRock, the company that owns everything. Yeah, BlackRock and Vanguard basically control the entirety of the stock market. Their AI system was built in the 90s. It's the most advanced system on the planet, probably. Maybe our government has something better. It's hard to say. But yeah, I'm looking at BlackRock. I want to go through a couple posts because I want to talk about this. Because understand that the deep state is a global entity. It's global. This is about global control. They're not trying to control America. They think they've got that. They're trying to control the world. And they're doing a hell of a job on it, by the way. Here's a tweet. UK is being sold off to BlackRock. Ever wonder why Starmer would want to devastate the British economy and devalue its business and assets? This is why. Headline, world's biggest investor BlackRock on asset buying spree in undervalued UK. What's happening in the UK? Do you guys know? They're allowing crime to just get out of control. They brought in all these illegals that are just basically criminals, kind of like what they're trying to do in America. The cities are being destroyed. America fought back more effectively. My brothers and sisters across the pond, anybody in the UK that's listening, you guys got some work to do. You're going to have to do some work, and it's going to be ugly over there. But America fought back harder, so we got Donald Trump in. But UK, it's crushed, right? So the values of everything in the UK have collapsed. Meanwhile, guess who's buying it all? BlackRock, right? Now, if you think that BlackRock is not tied in or involved with the deep state, I got news for you folks. I got news for you. So we got another, this guy. Who owns BlackRock? Warren Buffett, big owner of BlackRock and Vanguard. What does BlackRock want? Social problem, substituting humans for machines will be easier in developed. Let me show you this. The Great Reset's happening. Trump is not stopping it. It's not in any way, shape, or form, right? In any way, shape, or form. He's doing what he can, but he's not winning this fight. If you think he is, I've got news for you. And until he gets a hold of the Epstein list, and some of these power levers that they're using to control ain't going to happen. So let me show you this. Let's show you this. This is Larry Fink, who's the CEO of BlackRock. Ready?
I could argue in the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations. Okay, that's something that most people never talked about.
Shrinking populations, from things like the COVID jabs, poison in our food supply, things that create so that you can't reproduce, those things. By the way, have sex with someone who's been jabbed. That'll work out well for you.
We always used to think shrinking population is a cause for negative growth. But in my conversations with the leadership of these large developed countries that have xenophobic immigration policies, they don't allow anybody to come in, shrinking shrinking demographics, these countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI and technology. And if the promise, I didn't say it's going to happen, but if the promise of all that transforms productivity, which most of us think it will, we'll be able to elevate the standard of living of countries and the standard of living of individuals, even with shrinking populations.
Okay. This is foundational if you want to understand deep state thinking. Okay? You got kids? You better start worrying about our fight. You better start worrying about what I'm saying. I've been, whether you guys know what I'm doing, we're pretty busy here, right? And I'm making a lot of private moves, secret moves, behind the scene moves right now. And that's the absolute truth. What's going on? The fight now is not for us. The fight now is for our kids. Because what we're talking about is exactly what they're saying. They found that there will be more productivity and more money and a better standard of living with fewer people. So unless your kid is the child of a billionaire, unless your kid is special, your kid is a useless eater. Your child is a useless eater. The deep state and BlackRock and the WEF, all these guys, they know that your child is a useless eater. You think your kid's going to grow up and have a nice trade job? What trade job will they have when a robot can do anything a human can do? What trade job do you think you're going to give them? What are they going to do? Huh? Remember, the robot can work 24/7. The robot never gets tired. The robot doesn't need paid. The robot continues. Remember Elon Musk's dancing robots that look like humans can do anything a human can do? Those are real. They will be human level capacity in the next couple of years. Anything you can do, they can do better, faster, more efficiently, and no cost. So if you're Larry Fink, if you run BlackRock, and you're looking at this purely from an investment perspective, guess what your children are? Your children are now a liability. If your kids have a 4.3 GPA and are superstars, maybe not. Maybe not, right? The high achievers, they're okay. High achievers, they want to keep a few of those around. If your kid is not, if your family is not, if you're a middle income working class type family, if you're just trying to live your life at peace, if you think that you're done fighting, I've got news for you. You've got another year or two. It's going to really go south after that. Why? Because they know that a smaller population means less people to take care of. Fewer useless eaters. Fewer useless eaters. So they don't care about your family. They don't care about your kids. If you're connected, you're fine. If you're a big shot, you're fine. If you're a major, influential, whatever type person, yeah, you're useful, right? If you're a useless eater, they aren't going to want you, and there's going to be no need for you. There'll be no need for you to have a job as a mechanic or a contractor or whatever. You know what you're going to be doing? Nothing. You're going to be on universal basic income. Do you know what's going to happen with universal basic income? You're going to be given a stipend, and you're going to be required to live as the government says, which means you will get the vaccines that they want you to get. You will get the medicines they want you to get. You will eat the food that they produce, which will all be controlled and genetically modified. And you will live about as long as they plan for you to live. They're trying to engineer life. Why? Because it's profitable to do so. You think I'm nuts on this? Well, here's Larry Fink. Remember, let's play this again.
Standard of living of countries, the standard of living of individuals, even with shrinking populations. And so the paradigm of negative population growth is going to be changing. And the social problems that one will have in substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations.
When your kids die, when your family dies, when your people die, it's going to be a lot easier. You know why? Because the people aren't going to fight it. When the people have no jobs, when the people have no future, they get mad. They don't like that. No one wants to be like that. Nobody wants to live on universal basic income and have no purpose in life. It's not what we want. Sure, having an AI robot that can help you with some tasks is nice. But I want to control over my own life. I want to live my life my way. I don't care what the robots do. I just want to live my life. And I want to live it with other people. But you see, that's an obstacle. This is what the deep state is in for, right? When we talk about the depopulation agenda, which is real. I mean, do you really think that the COVID vaccines were that bad by accident? Do you really think that those STD-like poisons that are out there, do you really think they're that bad by accident? Any of you guys that want to just call it a day and say you're done with this, go ahead. Go ahead. Where are your kids going to be in a few years? That's where I'm going with this. It's ultimately up to we the people, and we got to start fighting now because there's not going to be time. It's going to be too late. We aren't going to get an opportunity to do this in the future. We know what's happening, folks. For people who, I've been on this for 5 years now. I've got paper trail and paper trail. Do you know how many clips, how many documents, government documents? We could show you this until the cows come home. And frankly, I have been. I'm kind of sick of doing it some days, and I get tired of it. But at the end of the day, if I don't create a future for my children, they won't have one. And right now, COVID was the beginning of the Great Reset. It wasn't the end. And if you think Trump coming in has fixed it, well, tell me why he has 140 executive orders, but only 5 bills have been put through. Trump can fight as hard as he wants. If we don't beat the deep state, it doesn't matter. It does not matter one bit. And we are not beating the deep state in any way, shape, or form. They are winning. Where's the Epstein list? Where is the Epstein list, right? That's what I keep asking, and I keep getting no answer. But I'm not getting an answer because if you take away the power, someone might ask questions about, well, hey, if we have robots take over the world and there's no jobs for anybody, what's that? Well, remember, folks, there's more profit in a declining population. That's what Larry Fink said. Larry Fink is one of the most powerful people on the planet. On the planet. He controls more money than most countries' GDP. In fact, more than many countries combined GDP. He controls almost every lever of industry. This is one of the most, huge, right? So BlackRock controls these things. BlackRock controls these things. And they control, through that, the Uniparty. Now, look, the Uniparty was also trending today on Twitter, right? Also trending. So I look at this. So this is a kind of a view that a lot of people, our vote is completely meaningless until we defeat the Uniparty. The Gina said that. I don't know what Gina is, but she's right. She's right. We've got Jamie Ottblom, who makes a very, very good point. Says, how dare anyone ask me to vote for a Uniparty Globalist 338? How dare they have destroyed our country? Soulless, never, ever. Shame on them. And Jamie posts a meme. Very soon, I'll show you the meme. Very soon, the same people who shut down your businesses and hampered all your careers will be asking that you reelect them so they can keep theirs. Never forget what they did to you. Now, that's an old meme, I think, but it's an important meme because that's what's happening right now in Congress. We got these elected officials who were responsible for this, for kicking off the Great Reset, and it's still underway, folks. I don't understand why people aren't concerned. Everybody wants to pretend, oh, we've got Trump, life is great. No, it's not. Trump's being hamstrung at every turn. How many lawsuits does this guy have against him? How many bills have we passed? Now, I think he's going to pass his big, beautiful bill, but if you think that bill is going to be what we all want it to be, I got news for you. It's going to be like everything else. It's going to look shiny on the outside and not accomplish anything on the inside. Unless the deep state's gone, there's nothing we can do, and we can't get rid of the deep state. Well, our elected officials are controlled because many of them are rapists and pedophiles. That's the truth of the matter. That's what James Comer was talking about. He's being blocked. Why do you think he's being blocked? Why do you think they can't get the Epstein list? Because it's a tool of control. The deep state doesn't mind Trump fighting and jumping up and down because they can undo everything he's doing in a few years. Those executive orders can be rescinded on day one of a new administration. Day one. So all they got to do is do nothing and make sure there's no real change for the next few years, and then they win. Then they win. Do you think that they're going to not steal the next election? Have you seen anything real on election reform? All the election reform stuff's in court. Do you think anything real's getting done there? You think that the next election won't be controlled or stolen? Of course it will. We have accomplished nothing. Nothing serious, nothing permanent, nothing that's going to make any difference. Your children and their future is at risk. I've been fighting for a long time. I'm tired. We, the people, got to start picking it up, right? We, the people, got to start supporting it. Hell, I can't even get funding to launch some. I could sue Big Pharma. I got a lawsuit. I can't get funding. I cannot get someone to fund a lawsuit against Pfizer. Can you imagine that? I can't do it without funding. I can't afford it. I just can't. I got the suit. I could file it. I can't get someone to fund a lawsuit against Pfizer. Can you imagine that? Can you fathom? Not anywhere. What? I don't have the reach? What? The people don't know? Of course they know. Of course they know. There's just no one willing. No one willing. Meanwhile, we're just everything's going to hell, right? Everything's going to hell. I don't know, folks. I don't know how we can get people to wake up. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you think you're going to go back to living your life and just doing your thing. And the time frame is key here, right? The time frame is key. You can think that you're done. You can bury your head in the sand. You can do like the people who just took the COVID jab because, well, it's easier than fighting. But guess what? That jab had consequences. And you putting your head in the sand and pretending that there's nothing wrong, consequences, real consequences. Because it's moving ahead. What's happening, our future is coming in an unabated fashion. And our future is not good for our children. It's my babies. That's what I live for. When I look over here, behind my other monitors, I've got 2 pictures of my kids when they were babies. I'd sacrifice anything for my children, anything. There's a couple things in my life I would do anything for, but not my kids. That they're it, right? That God gave me those. They're going to be number one, right? They have to be. That's what we're fighting for. Right now, my kids talk about what they want to do when they grow up, and I, Dad, what do you think? Should we do this? Should we do this? And I always have to pause because I don't know what they're going to be able to do, because they're going to have to demonstrate themselves as valuable in this new world that's being built, or they won't be there, right? They'll be put on universal basic income with the digital currencies and CBDCs that we're enshrining right now into law. And they will be required as part of getting that universal basic income, which they won't be able to earn a living without it, they will be required to, be a part of Medicare, Medicaid, whatever program there is. And as a part of that, they will get whatever they have to get. Their life will be controlled, designated, whatever, and they'll live as long as they can. And that's that, right? They're useless eaters. Unless your kids are the highest of high achievers, or you're very connected. And I'm worried about that, right? I'm worried about that. And my kids are awesome in my eyes, but I'm not a billionaire globalist. I'm pretty connected. I don't know if I'm that connected though. And I got kids that, they're awesome, but I'm worried about them, right? How can I make sure they're safe? How can I make sure they're protected? How can I make sure that there's jobs for them, that there's a future for them? This is everything, folks. This is everything. We've got a uniparty that's controlled by a deep state. The Epstein list is one of the tools, right? It's not just Epstein, by the way. There's tons. I mean, do you remember when there was a bill, it was a couple of years ago, for a new FBI headquarters? And it was dead on arrival in Congress. All of a sudden, the FBI raids one of the whorehouses in D.C. They have these escort. I don't know. They're whorehouses. I don't know how else to describe them, but they raid one, and they get all the files, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, the FBI headquarters bill gets passed immediately, to the tune of I don't even know how much. Why is that? Because they had the dirt on what the different congressmen were doing. Well, you think that that's not what's happening? Is anybody that naive? Do any of you guys actually think that this is, these are good guys? No. The Epstein list is 100% in use. Just like all these other lists, all these other guys, the Diddy list, all these things, the same thing. That data is there. It's available. Bad guys have it. They're using it. The people at top are controlled. Not all of them. Comer's asking some tough questions. I'm guessing he's not. MTG does a lot of hard things. A lot of these people are doing hard things. But a lot of them are also willfully blind or just ignorant to what's going on here. They don't know that Larry Fink and the big business and the globalists have figured out that a declining population means more profit and a higher standard of living for them, which is all they really care about. Your kids don't matter, folks. They don't matter. Not one bit. So, meanwhile, our Uniparty, they focus on things like this. Charlie Kirk. Almost 4 million illegals were given Social Security and Medicaid in 4 years, right? That turns to the tune of about $1 billion, almost $2 billion a month. And Charlie Kirk's talking about whoever does this should go to prison. Well, that's true. That's true. That was part of the overall plan, and whoever did this should go to prison, 100%. It was certainly a bad guy. But do you think that the Medicaid thing, which, by the way, the Democrats are out there telling you that Republicans are trying to take your Medicaid. No, not unless you're an illegal. If you're an illegal, they're trying to, and they probably ought to. But, you really think this is what's going on? No, we have a lot of this stuff going on, but none of the things that we're addressing are corporate. Now, when we cut funding to USAID, that was one. That was a big one. So we've taken some steps that have really hit the deep state. But until there are arrests, until there are people going to jail, until someone gets involved, the CIA, DOD, some of these DIA, some of these things, get some of that done. I mean, it's just, we need General Mike Flynn to audit the intel agencies, because unless you understand the intel agencies from the inside, I couldn't do it. I couldn't properly audit that. We need guys like Mike Flynn to get in there and do that. I don't know whether the general would do that, because after all he's been through, that's a lot to ask. But I will tell you that without guys like him getting in there and doing it, now I hear Tulsi Gabbard's doing a good job. I don't know. I've been kind of impressed with what I've seen from her, but I don't really know. I don't know firsthand, because I just don't. That's not. It's not my I mean, I know enough about the intel business to know that I don't know much, and I know that a lot of it, what you don't know, is really dangerous. So they got a lot of ways of doing things. You got to have someone with inside knowledge who can really dig into that. So I'm not sure where she's at on that, but it's the DOJ has got to get on this, and the DOJ is stonewalling. They're stonewalling everybody, right? How about Chelsea Clinton, right? USAID gave Chelsea Clinton $84 million. That's supposed to go to relief in Haley. Relief in Haiti, Haley. She got $10 million to purchase a luxury mansion on our dime. I think there's $3 million for her wedding. How is that? I mean, really? Really? Are we investigating that? Is anybody putting her in jail? Soros received $260 million from USAID, according to Charlie Kirk. Really? What are we doing? Has there been any arrests in the Soros world? I mean, is Arabella, the Open Society, any of those? Any arrests anywhere? Where is our DOJ? It's 100 days in. We don't have time, folks. We don't have time for this. They are coming after your kids. It's unpopular. You know what? I'm guessing this show viewership will be terrible because everybody wants me to tell you Trump is saving the world. I can get lots of viewership if I tell you guys Trump's saving the world, but the problem is Trump's trying to save the world. He just ain't quite there. And it's not his fault. He's being undermined by every deep state monster on the planet. The evil, the power, BlackRock, these guys have more money than countries. They can fund a deep state by themselves. They can fund their own CIA by themselves. And they are. These guys have intel agencies, retired spies, co-opted spies. They don't have to work for the government anymore. They can work for BlackRock. And they are. We are being manipulated, folks. The Great Reset is underway. It's not going anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere. AI cancer cures? No. No. They're causing cancer, folks. They're not going to cure it. They're going to control how long you live and how long your kids live. Oh, I'm going to have my kid eat natural. Okay, good luck with that. Did you know that we always talk about global healing and go to TomRenz.com and go to global healing. But do you know that outside of a handful of companies, Mike Adams, there's a handful of companies that are still privately controlled that look at their sourcing. But guess what? Most of your nutritional companies, most of your health supplements, companies owned by China or Chinese holding companies or other companies that indirectly controlled by a globalist, controlled by this. And guess what? Ask me about their sourcing, right? GMO plants, GMO this, GMO that. Harvested from, fields that were poisoned with glyphosate and this, that, and other. You think you're going to keep your kids out of it? The globalists have won. They're ahead of us. We aren't winning this, folks. We're not winning. Trump is our last chance. We've got to help him. He is our last chance, but we, the people, have to help him. We need grassroots. We need things like the Freedom Brigades. We need a lot of things. We need to expose what's happening on a grander scale, but most importantly, we need to make sure that people know what's happening, that we're not living in a utopic time because Trump is ushering in the grand new age. The grand new age is declining population because, as Larry Fink said, they make more money off of people dying than they do us being alive. That is your children they're talking about, folks. Your children. It is 100% your children. So I'm just going to tell you right now, if we don't do something to try and make sure that this is, turning around, if we don't get active, if we don't start demanding real changes, if we don't start electing people who are beholden to we the people instead of they the deep state, we're done. It was also interesting because someone was talking about RFK. Now, I think RFK is doing good. I trust him still. We'll see what happens here. But they said, why is he acting so much different? They were analyzing. They said, well, once you become the sheriff, everything becomes different, right? You can tell everybody what you're going to do, but once you get the position, then you find out how things are done. That's true. I've got friends of mine who got elected to various positions, and they change their tune on things. Well, I can't fight this bill. It just won't work, Tom. It's just too much. That's not how it's done. It's just not, Tom. You know, I love you. I'm grateful for all the help you did getting me elected, get me this, get me that. I'm grateful for your support, you know. But you just can't, you don't understand. You're not there. You don't understand how mad they get. You don't understand that when they do this, this happens. When they do that, that happens. That you just don't understand, Tom. We're under pressure. We've got these different things, and folks, this show won't be popular. Probably going to have lower viewership. And the reason for it is that I'm telling you the truth. Everybody wants to think we're in a good spot. I do. Man, I'm tired. I'm tired. But we're not. You don't have a future for your kids if we don't fight. There is no future. And there's only a couple paths forward. I mean, I'm working on a few of them. I'm praying that they work out. I mean, they're honestly, they're long shots on some levels. Part of what what we got to do is we got to make sure that we got the right connections with the right people who are good people and that we're working together to get things done. You got to make sure that people are aware, knowledgeable, they understand all these different things. It's terrifying, folks. It is terrifying. If you think we're in a good spot, we're not. I'm not trying to be a downer. I hate these downer shows. I like to be positive. I like to look at good things. But again, what I'm seeing and what I see happening and where things are going, man, it's not positive. It's not uplifting. I want to urge you to all get involved, to stay involved. Support us, TomRenz.com. I'm still fighting. I'm working on a bunch of different initiatives in the background. So I do need as much help as humanly possible because, honestly, sometimes there's only a handful of us that really get it and are really fighting this. And it's not conspiracy theory. I showed you what Larry Fink said. I showed you what James Comer said. It just is what it is. Praying to God for our country, for our future, for our children, that we the people can come together. Please support us, givesingo.com/Renzlaw and at TomRenz.com, TomRenz.com. Appreciate y'all listening. Try and be a little more uplifting next time. Have a great day.